Welcome to Las Vegas, also my car, where over 40 million visitors come annually either to lose or gain a fortune. It's kind of a strange place, almost like Disney World for adults, but who like to spend even more money. A lot of YouTubers will put like the top 10 things to go do and see in Vegas, and that's great and all, but I don't know, I just thought maybe I would share my own weird experiences with Vegas. So with that, I present to you the top 10 most moderately disappointing experiences and things you might not notice in Las Vegas. So let's go. Number 10. The Fall of Atlantis animatronic show at Caesars. Now, Caesars is a pretty cool casino with lots of statues and stuff, but tucked way far in the back, there is this hourly animatronic show that pops up in front of the Cheesecake Factory. 3 robots come out of it dressed up like Barbie dolls in the City of Atlantic home. They start moving and talking, but because of the dome structure, it's extremely hard to hear what they're actually saying. So it sounds like this. It's a quite poetic show about 2 children who want their dad to give them something, and when they don't get it, they get really angry. The sun comes out and he has like this sword that catches on fire, but there's this long umbilical cord that's attached to it that's kind of distracting. But at this point, nobody's really listening anymore, and we're mainly just waiting for more flames to come out. You can't help but sense that this was probably made in the early 90s and it was really cool back then, but now it just keeps going because they already built it. And part of me can't help but wonder what kind of misery it would be to be a robot that's resurrected every hour on the hour for tourists, only to be engulfed in flames every show. At least as humans, we get to die, but these machines can just be repaired over and over. Number 9, the Tipsy robot. Did I mention Las Vegas loves robots? Like, they really love them. And they love drinking. In fact, drinking is pretty much inseparable from gambling here on the Strip. So why not just enjoy the show of a cool, calculated, infallible robot arm make you a drink? By the looks of it, I feel like maybe I could relate to the person who created this bar in the mall. The bar is pretty much set up for minimal human interaction. When you're looking for your drink, it's almost like being a machine operator in a factory. But these robot arms are anything but tipsy though. The massive machine arm that sits up on the bar is the same kind that's been used to propel mankind forward for a couple decades now. They've reduced the human workload, sped up production, and even saved lives in surgery. And now you can witness all of that marvelous technology dispelled into this little cocktail that it's making. Except the ice machine's not working, so it's just a liquid version. The cocktail was pretty average, I would say. It was called the COVID Killer, and it was okay. Now, if removing all human interaction from drinking wasn't enough for you, it only goes downhill from here. So here's number 8, the ice bar. And this one genuinely perplexes me because the whole premise is that you'll have a cold drink in an even colder room, and you will pay a lot of money for it. Now at $75, you get the fake fur coat with a silly hat, but you can't get the fun colored fur coats. Apparently those are extra. And if you're like me and you only spend $25, then you just get a jacket with gloves. The whole place is basically a -5-degree meat locker with some ice sculptures and some missing ceiling tiles. But there's also kind of this odd disparity between them trying to make it seem more warm and cozy and weird pictures, and also it just genuinely being really cold. This drink even froze. Maybe there's something about this mutual suffering that brings everyone together in some sort of team or we did that kind of thing. But luckily we got the professional VIP commemorative photo included with our $75 package. And they give you a free gift at the end, but it just turns out that it's the hat you chose because they can't reuse it for sanitary reasons. Number 7, the Welcome to Las Vegas sign. Now the first thing to know about this historic 1959 landmark is that the Las Vegas welcome sign is actually not within walking distance to the Strip. It's literally 1 mile before the start of the Strip at Mandalay Bay, so don't walk. Also, it's in between two busy streets, so you gotta drive. Once you get to the sign, you'll notice two more signs. There are no licensed photographers, and also there's this sign that tells you that the color of the bulbs is standard yellow. I don't think standard yellow is a color that exists, but there will always be a guy trying to take your photo and asking for tips, but you don't actually have to use him, though they act really professional, so it seems like they're official, but they're not. The other thing about this sign is you really don't have to go to it because it's literally in front of every gift shop on the strip, and most people just decide to take a photo in front of those signs instead. But the thought of immortalizing yourself in front of this sign where literally 40 million other people do it every year is kind of interesting. It kind of makes me wonder about the purpose of taking these photos. Is it so that you can prove to other people and show them on your phone and bury it deep into your photographs never to be seen again? Or is there's something more there? Number 6, avoid the showgirls and showguys and characters on the strip, and they will try to woo you in.
No, oh no, I'm good.
Which planet are you from?
What?
Which planet are you
Oh,
from?
I'm from Earth. Yeah, I'm definitely from
I'm
Earth.
from Jupiter.
Jupiter. Oh, nice.
It's literally a thirst trap and a scam. Usually you'll see them prey on single guys who are walking alone, and they'll ask you if you want to take a photo. But what they won't tell you is that they're going to guilt tip you in the end, and usually these showgirls ask about $40 a piece. And just look at this. It looks like he gave her 2 5s and a 10, but then the other one's asking for a tip as well in addition. This guy's thinking this is a complete ripoff. And even my cameraman got harassed for having this guy in the side of his frame in the dopey Sonic costume. Number 5, smoking. No, that's not the inside of a casino, but sometimes that's what it feels like.
You taste a new cleanness. You feel a new coolness. A wonderful smoothness deep down in your throat.
Ironically, Nevada has a Clean Indoor Air Act that prohibits smoking in most places except for casinos. Now, the casinos claim that the reason they don't ban smoking is because they would lose about 10 to 11% of their business. But after digging into the National Library of Medicine, I found a paper that concluded that daily smokers tend to have more problems with controlling their gambling. So they're probably their best customers. The casinos seem to know that nobody likes a scratchy throat if they don't smoke, so they've invested millions upon millions into their air handler systems. Even Treasure Island tried to put perfume in their ducts, but apparently that was a horrible disaster. This review says, it has a sickly sweet smell, like too much vanilla air freshener trying to cover years of smoke smell. And then they go on to complain about the cost of tea. Unfortunately, according to the CDC, no matter whether it smells like it or not, 2 hours of secondhand smoke is pretty much the same no matter what, and you get the same adverse health effects. So no matter what, you're gonna get all smoky. Unless you go to the MGM Park, which is the only voluntary smoke-free casino on the strip. And right across the street is number 4, the Deal or No Deal slot machine. To the best of my knowledge, this may be the only one on the Las Vegas Strip. And when I first found it in the New York casino, I was super excited about it. Not because I love gambling, but because I'm sort of a fan of the Deal or No Deal show. Deal or No Deal was the epitome of the early 2000s. It was a game show featuring Canadian host Howie Mandel, bringing contestants on from all around the United States to stake their chance at winning $1 million. And what I love about it is that it's unapologetically the worst fast food of television. Not only does it have slightly misogynistic vibes to it, but also there's this sort of amazing amount of greed from each contestant when they press their luck by either accepting or not accepting the deal from the producer above.
No deal!
Here's a guy who lost $1 million.
I'm ready.
You're either going home with $1 million or $1, Richie Bell. So sorry. I'm so sorry.
The emptiness of his inconsolable clap still haunt my soul to this very day. This slot machine is something though, and I mean that in a less than positive way. It's something bad. I originally thought that I'd be able to play the game just like in the show, But turns out that Vegas doesn't make money if you do that, so you actually have to gamble until you get enough suitcases in the slot machine, which is not guaranteed and can end up being really expensive. And on top of that, there's a timer till each bonus game, and you only have 10 minutes to spend enough money to get the cases. So as you feverishly try to win enough cases to play the bonus game, Howie Mandel and his models taunt you. If you're morbidly curious how this game turns out, I'll post that in a separate video with a link below. But to summarize, myself, Shane, and Evan all collectively lost about $40 on this machine. And Evan got enough suitcases, but he made the mistake to keep on betting and running out of money, and if you run out of money, the slot machine will no longer let you play the bonus game.
I just lost $40. I didn't even get to play Deal or No Deal. This game's no deal.
And that's why you shouldn't turn game shows into slot machines. At this point, I was feeling a little down, so I decided to walk over to the Bellagio for some chocolate to cheer me up. Which brings us to number 3, the world's largest chocolate fountain in the world. Now take a moment to imagine what the world's largest chocolate fountain looks like. Are people just dining in decadence as they dip their strawberries into this luscious fondue chocolate fountain? Or is it like Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, minus the terrifying scene where Augustus Gloop gets stuck in the chocolate tube? As I approached this 27-foot tall cascading mountain of flowing chocolate, I was surprised. Is this it? The possibly years upon years of engineering and insight that went into developing this magnificent fountain is spectacularly downsized by the fact that it's parked next to this little gelato shop on the corner. As if to say, pay no attention to me, I'm just here to kind of look at while you get your gelato. I suppose my expectations were maybe a bit lofty. But when I looked closer at the fountain, it was kind of gross. The hot chocolate pouring down from each custom-made piece of glass only seemed to work in a small area, and the rest of the chocolate kind of congealed. And despite it being closed behind glass, there were still bits of fur and gross splashes everywhere, and who knows what else. Perhaps mankind was never meant to have a giant flowing pool of chocolate that they could put stuff in. And perhaps the final blow is that 2 years ago, the Lindt factory designed a 3-foot taller chocolate fountain in Switzerland. So I guess technically you'd have to ask them what the definition of largest is, but it's definitely not the tallest one anymore. Well, we only have 2 more to go. We're almost there. Your attention span is already better than 99% of the people out there. So, on to number 2. Binion's Millions. Since 1954, the Binion's Casino on Fremont Street has had a $1 million display that you could take photos in front of. But where is this $1 million? Every website says you can find it.
Hey, I was just wondering, do you guys have the $1 million poker table?
They got rid of that thing 3 years ago.
3 years
Right
ago?
before the pandemic.
Was it real?
Yes.
It
Or
was.
They couldn't even keep it on the floor.
It turns out they took it down, so my whole plan to show it to you was kind of ruined. But here are some facts about $1 million you should know. Back in the 1950s, $1 million was worth closer to $10 million, and the average house was worth only $10,000. The reason people came to take their photo with this money was because $1 million was such an incredible, mind-boggling amount of money, you couldn't imagine it. If you were to win $1 million in 2023, here are some things that you could buy. Here's an 800 square foot apartment in New York City. It's worth $1 million. This Ferrari is not quite in your price range, it's $1.4 million. And Jay-Z's Tiffany's Patek Philippe is a little outside of your price range at $4 million. Or you could use it for retirement, but the average annual expense for a household is about $60,000, so about 16 years is how long it would last you. Then you would have to die. So if you don't want to die, and your inflation's hitting your bank account pretty hard, then you'll love number 1, the 99-cent shrimp cocktail from Fremont Casino. That's right, a beautiful shrimp cocktail for under $1 US. As I made my way into the casino, I couldn't help but imagine a lovely seafood restaurant where they would produce this vibrant, beautiful, luscious shrimp cocktail. But where was it? This better not be one of those tricks to get me inside the casino. Okay, no seafood restaurant, but I see this Vietnamese restaurant. Maybe I can ask them where this thing is. Because I am determined, I am gonna find this delicious, succulent shrimp cocktail. As I inquire with the cashier about the location of the 5-star restaurant that serves these delicate delicacies, she hesitantly points to the middle of the display case. Oh, dear God. Surely there must be some mistake, I insist. But she reaffirms, this is the shrimp cocktail. I begin to silently weep, defeated, as I unfold my crisp, hard-earned dollar bill from its wallet. What had started as a mental exploration of living like a king for $1 quickly dissipated into the airs of a semi-transparent plastic cup with small shrimp in it from a questionable origin. To be completely fair, it actually doesn't taste that bad. It just looks so repulsive that it's offensive to every sensibility I have. And I think just by looking at this, you understand why it's number 1 on my list. As I look back at this journey we've had over Vegas, I think there's one concurrent theme. In the continuous effort to cater to people's hopes and dreams about winning it big, there's this kind of plasticness about this city, like the paint's peeling off or something. But I don't mean it necessarily in a negative way. If you bother to look close enough, there are a lot of hidden gems that you wouldn't notice otherwise, and at least that's what I find beautiful about it. So hopefully you thought that was interesting, because I spent a lot of time editing it. I really appreciate you watching it this far, and if you did, gold star to you. I hope to do more of this stuff in the future. It's really fun, it just, it takes a little more time to make. Subscribe, like, comment, or whatever the YouTube thing's telling you to do nowadays. So, thanks, bye.